Good afternoon, everybody. It's Wednesday, little Wisdom Wednesday time, and just going to finish up. I just had started this month doing some book reviews, and I thought I would finish with one of the more recent books that I've read and wanted to share with you because I think that the data is starting to really become more and more robust as far as trying to connect dots with health and with how we are nutritionally living our lives. And I think that this book kind of brings it on home. This last book that I want to share with you is The Cancer Code. Now, we've talked about Dr. Fung before because he wrote the Obesity Code and the Diabetes Code, but this last book, The Cancer Code, and I guess that's backwards, is his most recent book. And I'm going to read to you just the review that we got from just the publisher itself, because I think it's a nice just synopsis of the book, just so that you'll kind of get an idea about this book. And I'll try to, at the end, put some things together that we've been talking about for the last year. We are definitely in year 2 now with our little weekly series, and I will finish up this little part of our reviews as far as books are concerned, and then next week I'm going to start walking through hormones again. And as I just finished doing a weekend of hormone review that I do 2 or 3 times a year, there's more and more data that comes out each and every day, and I think that that can be valuable for you and for your loved ones. But this particular book, this Cancer Code, basically helps us walk through a lot of things regarding cancer. So if you have cancer, if you know someone that has cancer, or if you just like to prevent it, I think this is a great book. So let me just read this to you. Our understanding of cancer is slowly undergoing a revolution, allowing for the development of even more treatments. For the first time ever, the death rate from cancer is starting to slow down, and there's a steady decline. But the war on cancer has hardly been won. In this particular book, Dr. Jason Fung offers a revolutionary new understanding of this invasive, often fatal disease. What is it, how it manifests, and why it is so challenging to treat? Dr. Fung has a rousing narrative, and he identifies the medical community's many missteps in cancer research. In particular, its focus on genetics, or what he terms the seed of cancer, at the expense of not looking or examining the soil or the conditions under which cancer flourishes. Dr. Fung, whose groundbreaking work in the treatment of obesity and diabetes has won him international acclaim, suggests that the primary disease pathway of cancer is caused by the dysregulation of insulin. Where have we heard that before? In fact, obesity and type 2 diabetes significantly increases an individual's risk for cancer and perhaps other types of infection. We've talked about that too. In this accessible read, and it is exceedingly accessible for any person, very enjoyable for me, but even for lay people, this will be a fairly easy read. Dr. Fung provides a new paradigm for dealing with cancer, with recommendations for what we can do to create a hostile soil for this dangerous seed. And that's the idea here, is what is our soil? What is the underlying aspect of our health within the body? One such strategy is intermittent fasting. We've talked about that before too, which reduces blood glucose. It lowers insulin levels. And another is eliminating insulin-stimulating foods, such as sugar and refined carbohydrates. For hundreds of years, cancer has been portrayed as a foreign invader we've been powerless to stop. But by reshaping our view of cancer as an internal uprising of our own healthy cells, because he describes the aspect that every cell in our body has the underlying ability to be a cancer, every single cell. And you and I make cancer cells every day, but we have hopefully a very hostile soil, and they cannot really take root. So we can begin to take back some control. This seed of cancer may exist in all of us, but the power to change the soil is also in our hands. And we've spent a lot of time over the last year really looking at that, not only from the aspect of cancer, but truly from the aspect of infection and our immune system, and what really increases our risk, and how do we then optimize our soil. And it really seems to be coming around to this aspect of insulin and glucose control, and understanding how to create an environment within ourselves that is going to be hostile not only to outside invaders, but also the inside invaders that can grow and cause disease and can create significant havoc and harm. So a totally different paradigm shift. And we can't just sit aside and go, oh, well, it just happened. We have to really look inside deeply to see perhaps where these aspects can happen. And it's not just that necessarily you have a bad environment, but stress plays a huge role, because stress increases cortisol. Cortisol has significant impact on the inflammatory aspect of our body. It has a significant impact on making more sugar, therefore increasing more insulin as a result of creating more sugar in the body. So many things are at play, but the underlying aspect of things we have control over is really there. And I think that this hopefully will pave the way for us to continue to walk down this path of understanding blood sugar and insulin, and what role we play in making choices, and then trying to look at our own biology deeper inside to see where else we can have impact in a positive way to create a very uninhabitable soil for abnormal cells and for any microbes or bacteria, viruses, fungi, whatever, to grow within us. And we do have that aspect, I think, and we are getting and gaining much more knowledge over time. And this book really does help bring some of that to light. It's just a start, but I think we are starting to move in a direction that may have more impact long term, and that may enable us to prevent, which is really what we want. We don't want just early diagnosis, we want prevention. And pretty much today, all that we have is screening for early diagnosis, which is not a bad thing, but what if we could just prevent it? Hopefully we can, and we'll continue to dig deeper and continue to walk through areas of information, and I'll be sharing with you as much as I can in the coming weeks and years, hopefully, that we can all continue to really be healthy and actually prevent any major illnesses along our lifespan and our health span, and really try to condense that illness phase of life to end of life. Hope you all have a great week, and we'll talk again next week.